Hello and a very warm welcome to all of my friends. We are now continuing along with our series of instructional videos about the iMaster brand inverters. Today, we want to talk specifically about the E1 model inverter and exactly what we are going to be learning together in this tutorial video is that we want to set our frequency reference. In this tutorial, we'll learn exactly how to adjust the settings using the built-in potentiometer that's located right on the E1 inverter keypad. And we will also cover how to start and stop the motor using the external control terminals on this specific inverter. On the E1 inverter, we've already learned that if you want to manually set the frequency reference on this inverter unit, you need to follow these steps carefully. You need to navigate into the parameter group A. And in parameter number 1, we will configure our frequency reference directly on the inverter unit. If we want the frequency reference on the E1 inverter to be set by the potentiometer on the inverter's own keypad, we need to set parameter number 1 from group A to 0, which means parameter A01. If it's set to 0, our frequency reference will be controlled by this manual potentiometer dial on the keypad. So, we set the specific parameter number 1 from group A to 0. But if we want to start the motor using the digital inputs located on the terminal block, we need to go into the parameter group A again. In parameter number 2, we set it to the value of 1. If we set it to 1, then starting the motor will only be possible through the digital inputs, and we will no longer have the ability to start it from the keypad anymore. This ensures the control is fully transferred to the external inputs. But there are also several other important settings we definitely need to configure on the Avon inverter. If you want to properly configure the various digital inputs of the Avon inverter and assign them specific functions, you first need to enter parameter group C. After successfully entering parameter group C, in parameter number 1, you can easily assign a specific function to digital input 1 of the inverter. If you then go to parameter number 2, it is specifically for digital input 2. If you continue and go to parameter number 3, you can configure the next input accordingly. It's for digital input 3, parameter number 4 is for digital input 4, parameter number 5 is for digital input 5, and parameter number 6 is also related to digital input number 6. For example, I want my digital input number 1 to be set to forward rotation, meaning it should issue the forward command. If it's activated, then my digital input number 2 should be set to reverse, meaning it should issue the reverse command. To do this, when I want to set digital input 1, I need to enter parameter group C. In parameter number 1, if I look at the table provided in the manual, the table says, if you configure the setting of any of these parameters related to the digital inputs of this inverter to the numerical value of 0, that specific digital input will be set for the forward operation command. If you configure it to the numerical value of 1, it will be for the reverse mode. Specifically, I want my first digital input to be for the forward operation command. So I set parameter C01 to 0 to easily assign the forward command. My second digital input will be parameter C02, and I want to easily assign the reverse command to it. The reverse command is number 1, so I need to set parameter C02 to 1. So that's done. These are the specific configuration settings you need to make for the digital inputs of the E1 inverter. This is the detailed wiring example we need to follow for this tutorial. As we previously discussed, I want my first digital input to be used to assign the forward command, and then my second digital input will be used to assign the reverse command. We used 2 on-off switches. The first on-off switch, for the forward command, we connected its common terminal to CM1, which is the inverter's common terminal, and the other side, we connected to digital input 1 for the forward command. For the on-off switch for the reverse mode, we did the same thing. One side is connected to the digital input common terminal, and the other side is connected to digital input number 2 for the reverse command. So that's the wiring we need to do on the E1 inverter. Let's move on. Let's apply all the settings we've learned on the E1 inverter and test out this feature together. So, as we mentioned in this tutorial video, our goal is to set the output frequency reference on the E1 inverter using the potentiometer on the keypad and to control start, stop, and reverse through the command terminals. Alright, in order to adjust the output frequency using this potentiometer, we first need to enter parameter group A. In parameter number 1, we need to set its value to 0. If we set it to 0, the frequency will be changed using this potentiometer. But to start and stop the device using the control terminals, we need to enter another parameter group, parameter number 2. To enable start and stop through these terminals, you need to configure this specific parameter to the value of 1. Alright, let's go ahead and save that setting and go back. As we discussed just a moment ago, if we want to configure the digital inputs of the E1 inverter, we need to enter parameter group C. So, let's navigate our way into group C. Alright, now we've entered parameter group C. In parameter number 1, we can configure digital input number 1, and in parameter number 2, which is C02, we can configure digital input number 2. We said we want digital input number 1 to be set for forward direction, and when digital input number 2 is activated, it should activate the inverter in reverse direction. Let's enter group 30. Number 1 is related to digital input number 1, so let's go into it. If we want digital input number 1, when it's activated, to start the inverter in the forward direction, we need to set the relevant parameter, which is C01, to the value 0. But for digital input number 2, we said we want the inverter to start in reverse direction when it's activated. Parameter C02 is directly related to digital input number 2, so let's go ahead and look into it. To properly assign the reverse function to this specific digital input, we will need to set this parameter to the value of 1. Alright, so these are the essential configuration settings we need to make on the E1 inverter system. Let's go back to the D parameter group from parameter number 1 so we can see the output frequency value here. Alright, now I'm going to activate one of my digital inputs. This group is for the digital input for the left rotation, and this digital input is for the right rotation. First, I'll activate the right rotation and start the inverter. Now, if I adjust the volume on the keypad of this inverter, you can observe that my output frequency begins to change, and this inverter successfully initiates the startup of the electric motor in the correct rotation direction. And if I adjust the specific volume levels on the keypad, you'll see my output frequency changes accordingly. Alright, now if I want to start the inverter in the opposite direction, first I'll need to manually deactivate the digital input number 1. The inverter comes to a complete stop, and then I manually initiate the operation of the inverter again in the opposite or reverse direction. As we said, this digital input is for the reverse direction. Now, if I activate it, you'll see that the rotation of the electric motor changed, and it started in the reverse direction. So, we learned how to set the frequency reference, the potentiometer, on the keypad in this inverter. And also, how to use the common source, or our start/stop, through the digital inputs of the inverter.